No.
We can't synchronize because that's not how it would work digitally, because we would be off slightly.
Oh.
Because, we're not machines.
On the next What I'm With podcast, Tim forgets to roll camera for 34 minutes.
So you say.
Wait, the Soyuz rocket? Soyuz?
So
That's a really stupid pun.
You may have lost me a little bit there.
Well, hi guys, we have new microphones.
Yeah, this is great.
So, they're not here?
Or here. Or
right here.
Right in this area.
Right.
Yeah.
What happened to your face? See, Richard, I knew it.
I was literally just watching that movie before you came over.
That's an excellent choice.
The
It's
4K.
timeless.
The 4K just released recently.
Remember how last episode you shamed me?
Oh, yeah.
It's a good thing I have this refreshing Celsius to give me the energy that I need to get through today's podcast.
And I see you went with the refreshing blue raspberry flavor.
Well, at my local nondescribed convenience store, they're not a sponsor, they only had this in the dragon fruit, and
I haven't tried the dragon fruit.
Dragons don't have fruit.
They don't, but dragon fruit I've had, thinking, hey, this might be really good. I mean, it's just it's really plain.
It's so plain.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's more of a dye than a flavor.
It looks cool.
In a previous life, in a small business that I once owned, we used it as an ingredient. All it did was turn it pink. It didn't actually change the flavor at all.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds great. Dragon fruit.
I mean, it sounds
looks cool.
mighty.
It's very purpley.
Yeah.
But yeah, just it was a kind of a big nothing. Give me a cantaloupe.
Right. It's a big can of, it's the most inferior melon.
Yeah. Is it a melon? I don't even know what
it's a melon. I mean, no. Dragon fruit, I have no idea.
Oh.
Well, yeah. We'll look it up.
Yeah, but let's. I just want to test something real quick.
Yes.
We do have audio.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want me to? These are. I'm gonna put my cans on.
Yeah, put on the cans
because pro audio says cans.
So last episode, I was setting my Celsius, my refreshing Celsius, down often.
Let's do a 1-2,
and it made a bong every time. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, sounds like someone set something on the table.
Yeah, set it down.
Oh my
firmly.
gosh, that sounds like someone set something on a table.
So it didn't go boom.
No, there was no resonance. We're learning.
Because these microphones have compression.
Compression.
So if I talk loud, it just brings it down.
It does bring it down noticeably.
You can tell. I can't. I'm just taking your word
I'm
for
wearing
it.
cans.
You are. So Dave, you had a very interesting day yesterday. Yesterday being Friday.
So it technically started
Thursday night, right?
Yeah,
that's when
I came home to the problem.
Okay.
So there's in your house or apartment or domicile that has power, there's a thing called a circuit breaker panel, a box, whatever you want to call it. It's where all of your circuit breakers live.
Yes.
Now, these things go from your main bus to individual circuits, which are closed loops of electricity in your home.
They power all sorts of things like
outlets,
power
appliances, lights,
air conditioning,
you name it. And they are of different amperage.
Correct.
Which provides different amounts of electricity. There's maths involved that I can't really do.
This is hot pot.
Hot pot. Well, it's going to get hot.
Okay.
Very soon.
That's what we call foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing. It's an aspect of storytelling. You see, when you want to tell a story, which is a progression of focusing. Now, the job of a circuit breaker is when a fault in the circuit happens, it breaks the loop.
Right.
Therefore, discontinuing the supply of electricity.
Right. This is a safety feature.
This is a safety feature to prevent your home from burning to the flippin' ground.
Right.
Literally, a circuit breaker has one job.
Right. To
break the circuit and therefore establish safety.
That's why we call it a circuit breaker. Not a circuit.
Keep on and let Dave's house burn downer. Spoilers. So I came home, and my wife had mentioned earlier that she had smelled something weird in the house. She said that she thought it was like chemical or Sharpie or something like that.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's weird. Could be this, could be that. So in preparation for hosting, it's Holy Week, and in preparation for
preparation hosting
for hosting Easter. That we will be having as a family. I went to the basement to do some organizing and get stuff out of storage and whatever. And I detected the smell in full force.
Yeah.
Which is burning electronics, burning electricity. It's it's an ozone kind of thing. It's a very
distinct.
You know it.
Yes.
If you know it, you know it. You know burning clutch.
Yeah.
Yep. That's a distinct smell that you like when you smell it, you're like, that guy's clutch is burning.
Yep.
So yeah, electricity is like that. So
A
immediately,
clutch, by the way, is when you had manual transmission.
right? They do exist in automatic transmissions. They with the help of the flywheel disengage the drivetrain from. Anyway, so I go and I find my water heater with the indication of a small leak at the element. These happen. They're very cheap, easy fixes. There's tons of YouTube videos. You can fix this in about an hour for about $50 to $75. Not a big deal.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, well, maybe the element burned up. I drain the tank. That's step one. Get any water out because you're going to have to remove an element which is watertight inside there. So then I open the access port where the element is, and I'll put photos up because it's startling.
You sent me the pictures.
So it did not just leak. It leaked and then filled the compartment with enough water to short everything, and the circuit breaker did not break the circuit. It stayed on, and literally everything that could have caught fire in the unit caught fire, and the electricity was still on.
Wild.
I noticed this because when I took the unit out, I had to turn the circuit off. It's a 30 amp circuit. That is typically it's twice the power, more or less, of your standard outlet. It is a ton of electricity. It's about what you would power an oven with, I think.
Sure.
Ovens are either 30 or 50. Either way, you can run an RV on 30 amps, an entire RV.
Wow.
So yeah, thank God there was nothing flammable nearby the unit because it would have flammed. And considering that this happened while I was at work, this could have happened in the wee hours and I didn't notice. My entire family could have died.
Yeah.
My house could have been a total loss. Instead, I had to replace a hot water unit, spend several $100s and about a day and a half of toil. Never been happier to have had that experience because by all accounts, this should have been way worse.
Yeah.
Like way worse.
You got lucky.
Like we would not be filming the podcast because I would be in mourning.
Right. Or you would
dead.
just be or just living in your RV.
Possibly if everyone got out, yes.
Yeah. But we'll assume everyone got out.
Everyone lived, even the pets.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's I'm obviously not an expert in anything, but I wonder, do you have any idea what would cause the breaker to not break? That seems
I can show photos. I don't have it with me. I took photos.
But you replaced
everything.
Yes. In your circuit.
Yes,
or your
my panel. Yeah. So it's a unique type of breaker. It's two duplex. It's gonna get technical. So it's two duplex single pole breakers that are sistered. So it's a 20-30-30-20. So the way it works is the top half of breaker one is a separate 20 amp circuit. The bottom half of circuit one is the half of the 30 amp two phase or two pole circuit, so that it can provide a full 240 volts. Sorry.
We're gonna cut all this out.
So technical.
we have now jumped past the cut.
We're probably all the way into problems with people or something by now. So basically, the only way for the two things to trip at the same time is that they are held together by a pin. I think one of the two tripped and the pin stopped. Ooh. And so I think one half of the circuit turned off.
So everyone, go to your panel, check your pins.
Check your pins. There's actually clips. Clips are better than pins.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say,
this is clips. Old. Yeah. Well, this brand no longer exists.
Okay.
It's been replaced by another brand that still makes them to fit in the panel. It's a better brand. But yeah, they're dangerous.
Yeah, your house is in the 1980s, so
89, I think.
Yeah, so it's been around for a minute.
It's been around. That brand is not around. Maybe because of the house fires. I'm pretty sure I can get away with libel for a company that's defunct, right?
Better call Saul.
Or slander. I'm speaking.
Yes,
slander.
Yes. I'm sure
transcription and closed captioning are libelous, though.
Right. So I'm sure some conglomerate has bought that company out. Maybe you have a case.
Maybe.
Yeah.
If I have a phone,
you have a lawyer. Science and Kirk.
Because if you have a phone, you have a lawyer. Science and Kirk.
That's a local law firm.
Local, biggest law firm around.
Remember when there was Stephen L. Miles, and then Science, and then they became Science, Kirk, and Miles?
Yeah.
I think they then split up again and went back to just Science and Kirk. And
they never
Stephen
became
L. Miles.
Science and Miles or Kirk and Miles, so something happened with Miles.
Yeah.
I want to make a kilometers joke, but I don't know where I want to go with it. Not to the moon.
No, because
it's 238,000 miles away.
We got there on standard, not metric.
Yes, we did. Roll credits.
Well, yeah, do that thing.
I used to be with it. Then they changed what it was. Now what I'm with isn't it, and what's it seems weird and scary to me. It'll happen to you.
All right. Good credit roll.
Yeah.
Do we call it
some hot water talk? Some home repair talk?
We're calling it roll credits, but it's the intro. Maybe we should start saying roll intro.
Why would you embarrass me in front of the fam?
Well, because I started by saying roll credits, so it's my fault. And it's
but
just occurring.
by the transitive property, it's also my fault.
I guess so. But yeah, it was just. And are we actually rolling? Because again, we're filming.
They were filming, so you can't
filming.
roll.
We're not rolling.
Cue intro. Mm-hmm. That rolls off the tongue.
Insert intro in Adobe Premiere.
Hey, editor.
At this cut point.
Yes, use clip insert now. It doesn't really.
It just
doesn't do anything for me.
No. I think we'll just stick with roll intro.
We might just start this whole episode over at this point. I mean, I'm just not feeling it anymore.
How long have we been going?
11 minutes.
That's a good episode.
That's a good episode.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Oh, man. So, we're going right into the carbon blobs, aren't we?
Yeah, that's what I have as numero uno.
Nice little caveat from I can tie story 1 into this segment.
Oh.
So I watched Simpsons episode 2 last night at 10:45 at night, which is an hour-ish past my bedtime.
I would say old man bedtime is about 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Because everything in my life was a little chaotic from the hot water incident.
Yes.
I was not on my schedule.
No.
Things that had to get done when they had to get done.
Right.
And as I was doing all of my much later than normal time to go to bed, wind down prep, brainwave, I did not watch season 1 episode 2 yet. So
and you had things to do this morning, so it would have been a very compressed schedule.
I could have woken up at 6 a.m. on my day off to watch The Simpsons.
No, I mean, it's only 22 minutes of your life.
Yeah, and it's only... I mean, I would still technically be sleeping in at 6 a.m., which is a depressing thought for another day. Yeah. But, I did it last night, so it's all fresh, but I did not take copious notes.
Neither did I.
I have bullets.
I have a couple of bullets in my head.
My cellular telephone.
I wrote nothing down because most of my insight is going to come from a documentary that I've watched recently.
Interesting.
But,
well, on this note, why don't we insert the stinger?
Put that little thingy that looks like an eye.
Uh-huh.
Put it right there. And then put that stinger in there.
Put that stinger in there. Clip insert.
And do it now.
Who is it, Firebrand Smithers?
One of the carbon blobs from Sector 7G.
Okay.
So, if you don't mind, I'll kick off.
Please.
I have some insights. After we watched the first episode being the Christmas special, I should say the first episode to air, I found on Amazon Prime there's a docuseries about 6 episodes
which
long.
I have not yet watched, but it's in my queue.
Yeah, it's definitely worthwhile. The one thing I will say about this particular show is I have yet to see Matt Groening. There's a whole thing about how you pronounce his name in there. So it's his perspective is kind of not part of it, and I would really like to know, because you're hearing from writers and producers.
James Hellbrook's in there?
He's not in it, but they talk about him. What's really interesting, especially in the first couple of seasons, is they're saying that it was mostly James L. Brooks and more prominently Sam Simon, who are responsible for
Sam X Simon or
something like that. It's in the opening credits, and as the main individual responsible for what the Simpsons were then. He was only around for the first 4 seasons. Anyway, the Christmas episode was the first to air because of a problem. So when all the animation for Simpsons was done in South Korea.
Yeah, that tracks a lot. So, a lot of animation happens there. Yeah.
Yes.
To this day.
So they did all the stuff to make the characters how they're supposed to look and everything, shipped it over there. What they got back was actually not airable. It looked terrible. They were unhappy with the product. The Fox executives were kind of like, do we even want to keep this thing going? Because at this point, Fox had just started. The only show they had of any note at that point was Married with Children, which was popular but not a big hit. It was very niche.
Yes.
So Simpsons was supposed to be this thing to really grow the Fox brand and make it less of a joke and more serious. So the first episode, which I believe I can look in here, was like, what was it called?
So first in production, not first to air.
Yeah, and I guess maybe it didn't even air in the first season. It was I forget, it was like Some Wonderful Evening or something like that. It was going to air in the spring of 1989, but because of the problems, they're like, okay,
we're going to show all the way to December.
No, they're going to kick it to next year, but they got the changes were made, and they had the Christmas episode in the
time.
Can to air at Christmas time. But this episode that we are talking about today, the second episode, Bart the Genius, was the first episode shown to the executives to say, hey,
look,
this is it. Yeah. And for them, it was like, okay, this is a home run.
Yeah.
So a little bit of trivia there, why they started with a Christmas episode, which was actually supposed to be the
like the mid-season break or something.
Or maybe even
finale. Yeah, I mean from spring to...
Because it was only a 13-episode season.
Oh, yeah, they would have closed with that one then, probably.
Yeah. So they pushed that guy forward.
Very interesting.
It was. And this is also, it'll come up in later episodes, but if you have a keen eye, you notice in the first couple episodes that you see Mr. Smithers, he is of the African-American persuasion.
Yes.
This was because all of the sheets they would send to Korea were faxed in black and white. To like, because they would just draw, this is what the scene's supposed to look like, these are the characters, now animate away.
Right.
When they looked at Smithers, they just assumed he was African American and drew him that way until it was later corrected. I always wondered about that, and then I got the answer all of these years later.
Interesting.
So I was like, okay. I wondered why that happened.
Yeah, why? Yeah.
So, Bart the Genius.
Bart the Genius. So I had a couple notes, not copious, because again, I watched this past Old Man Bedtime. Mm-hmm. Opening credits.
Yeah, they were a longer version.
Longer version, you had the bus stop, and you had Lisa on her bike.
Yeah, so the bus stop is Bart skating around through all the people.
Which does not last.
It doesn't.
Long into the show. I don't know how many episodes. I don't know if this is the only one, because we're in the rewatch, but...
as one who regularly rewatches The Simpsons, it's the first... definitely the first season, maybe into the second. I think they eventually shorten it down as they kind of get into their groove and need more time.
Yeah, need more time, and long credits help runtime when animation's expensive, y'all.
It is. It is
like ruinously expensive.
And even later, you cut almost all the credits. You get Bart in the chalkboard, and then like right to Homer pulling up on the couch, and then the couch gag.
Little couch gag. Yeah. So the first thing that I noticed in the actual episode was, and this is a gag they've done more than once, but this was I guess maybe a little more subtle. Maggie had stacked the blocks for E equals MC squared. I remember they had Star that got knocked down to rats. Mm-hmm. I don't remember which episode that was.
But it's early. Yeah, it's the first couple of seasons.
So, so the E equals MC squared. I was like, yeah. I would not have gotten that as a kid.
No,
but
not at all.
Grown up me gets that. It's sciencey.
Yeah. So the conceit of this episode, Bart the Genius, is that they're taking IQ tests or aptitude tests in school, and Bart, known troublemaker, and
has to turn his desk sideways
because he's foiled by Martin Prince,
who we meet, I guess, for the first time.
Yes, this would be at least the first
who will be a recurring character in Springfield Elementary.
Yes.
He is the goody two shoes genius, lover of the arts, lover of the rules. He is corporate tool.
Yeah, so
Martin Prince.
So he's the one who says, "Shouldn't Bart be facing the window?"
So he won't be tempted to
to cheat.
Yeah.
So he does that. Martin finishes his test first. Bart is actually up front, right next to the teacher's desk, and is able to swap
the test,
put his name on. And
so this was all after he got busted for graffitiing the school, writing "Skinner is a wiener."
And Martin had this great thing about the spelling of wieners, like traditionally.
This is a regional. Yeah,
we'll have to show that clip because it's really funny.
Whoever did this is in very deep trouble.
And a sloppy speller, too. The preferred spelling of wiener is W-I-E-N-E-R. Although EI is an acceptable ethnic variant.
And then before that, the Simpsons were playing a family game of Scrabble, Right. And Homer had the whole word oxidize in front of him. It's like, oh, there was something to do with these letters. I know, do, or whatever it was. It was a 2-letter word.
Yeah, stupid.
And then to show Bart's, to drive home before the test that Bart's not smart is he spells Quidjabo.
Yes. Use it in a sentence. A big, dumb, North American
bald ape with a temper.
So we're doing a good job of establishing who the Simpsons characters are. They obviously develop and grow a lot more from this point, but it's giving us our first real solid introduction to
also,
those characters.
I think, because I was mistaken when we were talking about episode 1, that was I'm Bart Simpson, who the hell are you? I think this is the first instance of Eat My Shorts.
Eat My Shorts. So, yes, very, very. It's on T-shirts. It's on
Eat My Shorts.
Everything. I think I have a button back there that might even say Eat My Shorts.
I almost bought a treasure trove at the flea market today of Bart Simpson stuff that included Eat My Shorts, but I had already spent some money. I decided not to continue spending more money.
Yeah, I was on the fence about going to the flea market and decided not to because I went to our local retro shop yesterday, got some stuff, including over my... Oh gosh, that's going to come through.
Yeah, we'll hear that one.
Let me see. There, I'm looking at the camera. Right over this shoulder is Lionel Hutz, because behind you is Troy McClure.
I'll take your word for it.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than
the microphone and spoil things for
Troy
the audience.
Yeah. You might remember me from not knocking into my microphone, and I didn't knock over the camera earlier either.
Yes, no Phil Hartman in this season, but
there's no Phil Hartman in this world either.
So Homer and Marge are coming to the school, assuming Bart's in trouble, as he often is.
As he often is. He has his own cabinet, drawer in the filing cabinet.
Yeah, his file's this tall.
Yeah, he's got a massive file. Someone called him a name, like a psychopath or a something, and then Homer's like, he sure is. He knows what he's raising.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got a little terror.
But long and short of it, they say he's a genius. He's acting out because he's bored in school, and he's answering all these questions like, "Are you often like distracted?" "Oh, yes, sir. And all these things that could explain why he's such a terror in the school,
right?
And they're gonna ship him over to a school for geniuses.
But there was one moment that I personally very closely identified with when Skinner was listing Bart's many sins at the school, and then it was bringing in childish forgeries that were supposed to be notes from home, and then he saw Homer's signature on the check, and I was like, my handwriting looks like childish forgeries. That penmanship was not really pushed.
No, if when we get to the top Tim list, I was writing things down fairly legibly, and towards the end, it just not so much.
Right.
I was like, I am 45, almost 46 years old.
That's disgusting.
But in my defense,
thank you.
In my defense, I often type.
Yes,
this is
almost everything that I do that is note related.
Yeah. Yes, I'm on a keyboard or I'm on a phone, and I've never had good penmanship. No. I can actually, if I take my time, I can actually do it pretty well.
If I take my time, I can be a convincing middle schooler.
Oh, man.
It's bad. My penmanship is awful.
Yeah, I mean...
Awful. I think both my kids have better penmanship than me.
This is actually... Here's a good example of my penmanship. I mean, this is okay. This is me just writing it down, not trying to scratch it up.
Well, if you'll harken back to season 1 of our podcast...
yes.
How my note on the Petra episode looked like the ransom letter. So
that's right.
That wasn't like the exception to the rule.
We got to show a clip of that.
We'll find it. Yeah.
When I saw that, I'm like, am I in danger?
Yes, constant danger.
Where you look like you're about to go on a revenge tour.
I'm pretty sure in here is my list of demands to let Petra go. Just do what I say, and I'll let them go. Anyway, so Bart is shipped off
to the school where he is surrounded by the genius children,
right? Who are speaking in palindromes.
Yes.
And
now this is one of those things that I think could be a very shared human experience. And I'll give an example from my own life. I've been in IT for a career for the majority of my life. I started off as kind of like a help desk or the guy who comes to your computer and fixes it. Mm-hmm. And after several years of that, for where I worked, I was one of the best. Not to toot my own horn, I was just
sure.
I've been doing it for a while. I knew the systems. I knew what needed to happen and not happen. Yeah. And made the transition from that to being on the back side, the back end, the server side. And when you're at the top, or we'll just say like the top 10,
so
15%.
When you're big fish in little pond.
Yeah.
And then move into being little fish in big pond.
It's like, I know nothing.
Yeah. This is eye-opening.
And it's often called imposter syndrome.
Yes.
I don't feel like I belong here. I did nothing to earn this.
Right.
I'm out of my depth, so forth and so on. And if you've got the fortitude, you can grow into it. Sure. You can, if you don't, you can fake it till you make it.
Yeah, there are ways.
Yeah, but it was just very relatable seeing Bart there. It's like, I've had this happen more than once in my life.
Absolutely, yeah. I think the workplace story is a good example for that. I've had that myself. I have been, the team lead, the technical expert, and then switched to a different field altogether that this is adjacent to what I'm an expert in, but I'm not an expert in this at all, and everyone around here knows more than me, and I'm on this team.
To reference The Simpsons, you go from feeling like Dr. Hibbert to Dr. Nick.
Yes. This red thing connected to my wristwatch.
Just $39.95. I just
can't wait to get. There's so many Simpsons things I can't wait to get.
I know. Once we get to like 3 through 6, that's the
sweet spot for sure.
That's my favorite.
One of the things I really enjoyed, because again, it's just another insight into Homer, who I always love Homer.
Yes.
Showing his son how to put on a tie.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure you had a similar experience. Dad taught me how to tie a tie. I learned how to tie a proper Windsor knot and a double Windsor, which there's stuff on the internet that the double Windsor isn't real. I don't know.
I can't do the double Windsor.
So,
I've never been successful.
It basically just makes tighter triangles, but
sure. Whatever.
Yeah, so like I had that moment as a son with my father. When my son's older, I will have that moment with my son. But when Homer did it, it's like, here, these prongs go here and this clip goes here. I'm just like, my dude.
To reference Tommy Boy, it's like clip on.
Are you sure?
Oh gosh, yeah. To this day, because I rarely have to wear a tie.
Yeah.
I don't need it for work. I can dress as I am dressed now,
Right.
which is very casually, because I'm not in front of customers. I'm with my nerds in the nerdery with their calculators.
Yeah.
So there's this great trick for tying a tie where you like hold it with your hand and you basically put one side this way, loop around through, boom, it's tied. Put it over your neck.
Interesting.
Yeah, I have the directions on my phone because I think once every 2 or 3 years I have to wear a tie.
So I for around a year worked at a law firm. It's a really bizarre set of circumstances.
Was it Science and Kirk?
It was not Science Kirk or Miles.
Oh.
It was a law firm that shall remain nameless for legal reasons.
NDA.
I know too much. And if I say true things...
Did you go too far?
I did go too far. Little tortilla boy. So
This is my tortilla stand.
On I think the Craigslist. I found a job posting, so this is back in the day. Guy looking for someone to do the Macintosh specific IT at his law firm. I applied, I got it. Turned out I was a better paralegal than his paralegal.
Wow.
So I just kind of...
From all your years of legal training.
It's just attention to detail. It's not.
This is
okay.
This comes naturally to you and I. We are abnormal in that regard.
We focus on detail way too. It's probably a form of autism.
Yes, by probably you mean definitely.
Certainly a form of autism. Where on the spectrum I don't exactly know. We're delightful to be around. I promise.
I occasionally make eye contact, so we're good.
I actually just specifically at work said if I go to have to make eye contact. Anyway, so yeah, I wound up becoming everything except the accountant. I did not do the accounts, but I did everything in that office, and every day, because it was public facing, in a law firm, suit and tie. And it was a law firm that specialized in divorces. While I was looking at my wedding date in the very near future, it was not. Every sad drunken man who came in was like, "You should get out before it's too late." I'm like, "Or I should just not make your choices."
And you're still married to
15 years. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Not that hard.
I think. Oh gosh, I think I'm knocking on 20.
You got it.
I think I am.
I think you're maybe 19.
My wife is watching this now and yelling exactly.
Do you at least know your anniversary?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
I won't say it for NDA reasons. It's
Mr. Black.
Yes. No, there's
the
Simpsons
Cleveland
reference.
Browns. Yeah,
my anniversary is actually soon approaching, a couple months out.
Yeah, mine's a couple weeks out.
That might be my 20th. Maybe it's
maybe
it already was my 20th.
It is my 15th in a couple weeks.
I mean, you get this old, man. It all starts to blend together. Yeah, but
true.
This is a male trope, not unlike Homer being the oafish husband who knows nothing, and Marge being the supermom that knows everything.
Yeah.
Did they start this trend, or was it?
No. I mean, it's like honeymooners and stuff. Like, there's stuff.
Yeah, I guess it goes way back.
Like sitcoms have always kind of leaned into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe so.
But I mean, Simpsons definitely popularized it to a new level and exposed a whole generation to that kind of trope.
Right. So now it's expected for us to be stupid. We don't know anything.
Oh, look at the husband. He's going to do something stupid. One of the lines that I love, I think this was either when they were going to the film festival or the opera. So Marge, with a genius son, decides, I've got to expose you to culture, the arts, etc. So she says the whole family has to go, and Homer's response was, I'm not a genius. Why do I have to suffer?
Yeah, and then the next thing they were going to do is go see some foreign film.
Yeah.
But Homer got Bart out of it. There was just a great little family moment there where he takes Bart out for a catch.
They have such great father-son moments in this episode. It's one of the best for their father-son relationship.
Mostly. So Bart, back at the school, not knowing what he's doing, ends up mixing an acid with a base.
Which is the most vivid memory I have of season 1 of The Simpsons, is that scene.
Yes.
You know what happens when you mix acids and bases, right? Yeah, of course I do, ma'am.
Poof. So he gets brought in to the guidance counselor, the one who referred to him as a genius, and behind him you see Albert Einstein's photo on one side and Bart Simpson's on the other. And then he's
Albert Einstein, inventor of the light bulb, according. Right. Was it Homer? I think it was Homer who said that he invented the light bulb. Yeah.
But it later says, instead of saying, I don't have to be an Albert Einstein.
Right, I know Bart Simpson.
I don't have to be a Bart Simpson to know that blah, blah, blah. But eventually Bart ultimately confesses that he faked the whole thing. So he's home. He's all covered in green from his chemistry explosion, and so they're outside again. Homer's washing him up, and he's like, "Well, Dad, I have something to tell you. I was lying, but these last few weeks have been great.
We've been so close. Yeah. We've had all these moments
in a traditional sitcom. This is when the soft music plays in. It's like Full House. They solve every problem in 20 minutes,
right? And
it hits you in the feels, and you just feel great and." That's not what happened here.
No, Homer chases green naked Bart through the house. Marge's like, what's happening? He's like, I think Bart's dumb again or stupid again, whatever it is. Like,
Yep, and we got a few shots of Bart's butt cheeks as Homer's trying to
which is a very normal. We'll see a lot more Simpson butt cheeks over the years.
But what's important there is that this was the controversy with The Simpsons. We talked about it last time, where this was an animated show aimed at really teens and adults.
Yeah.
But it's a cartoon. Parents are going to put their kids in front of it. This is pre-internet. You don't have access to all the information, so. All of this stuff kind of made it into newspapers and magazines about it being vulgar and moms being upset that the show aired, and this, which only made it more popular because it was
right. Yeah, there's memes or meme level stuff about protest a thing and you'll make it popular.
Exactly, and this is Gen X. So
they don't tell me what to do. We ungovernable.
Yep. So it was. Probably why it's still running today is because of how it just captured that cultural feeling, whatever you want to call it, that vibe.
Yeah.
But that was basically the episode summarized somewhat poorly by us.
Yeah, with some segues and some non sequiturs peppered in there.
Yeah, but again, season 1 not my favorite season, but
it does have some moments.
It's important. It's laying the foundation. Yep. Getting us introduced to characters. Always recommend it.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to skip it. It's not like crappy. It's just it's in its infancy.
Yeah, I will. As I said, I regularly rewatch. I don't always rewatch season 1.
Yeah, I will fully admit that when I do a rewatch, I typically start at season 3.
Yeah, I go for 2 because there's some real gems in there, and obviously we'll get to them as this segment continues.
Indeed. Well, speaking of this segment continuing, guess what it's not doing anymore?
It's ceasing.
It's ceasing.
The editor is gonna
do that
little eye thing and make the cut
thing,
and then he's gonna scoot everything down.
Yep.
And he's gonna take the clip that we're about to show you and throw it right in there, like this.
It's magic to you guys.
Hey.
So video editors who may or may not be watching, it's not magic to them at all.
No.
They're actually describing this wrong.
Quite possibly.
I mean, I used to be a video editor, and a lot of what we were just saying, I'm like, well, I know what we mean.
Right.
But I don't think we're using the correct modern nomenclature.
Probably not. It looks like a little razor blade. Not a
Yeah, I
little,
mean, there's a blade tool, and there's
that's what
I know. Everything that I knew when I was good at this, I knew in Final Cut Pro, which kind of went. It was weird. It swept in.
Stop it! Cut it out! I have a glandular problem.
Did something bad happen?
I never hit start recording
Are you kidding?
on this camera. So, hey, welcome to this shot. This is the first time seeing it.
Oh, well, thank God we have 2 other shots. Oh. All right.
These things happen.
We'll make do.
Yep.
Make hay while the sun's shining.
That's fine. This is your first time seeing me in this shot. Hi, how are you? Nice to see you. Was so caught up in all the things that we were changing.
Yeah.
Completely forgot to.
We have literally 4 buttons to press.
Yep.
I pressed 3 of them.
You did.
You had one job.
I had one job.
Yeah.
One job. And it literally occurred to me, oh my gosh, I never hit the button. Let me look over there. Oh, yep. Never hit the button.
Well, I'm looking, and my button says stop. So that means I started.
Yes, mine now says stop. So everything's fine.
Good.
But hey, that's fine.
Yeah.
We don't need to see me.
Well,
I mean,
what's
we can
really
see me.
annoying about all of this is I was in the middle of a story.
Oh, I was not listening. I was just nodding my head, waiting for you to stop talking.
So for your turn to speak.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, let me manufacture an emergency when you speak, so that
I didn't manufacture. Well,
did you though? Did you?
It's all part of the plan.
Yeah. Or is it? So I don't even care what I was talking about now.
I genuinely forget,
But-
because I am mortified that I made such a
I really-
non-Palmer mistake.
I'm gonna sleep better tonight than I've slept in years because of this.
You're welcome. You need a good night's
I
sleep.
do after this week. Yeah,
Yeah.
tying it all together.
Look at me.
Yeah.
Just helping you out.
Yeah,
I'm
because-
such a good brother.
Yeah, it's true.
Seriously, what were we talking about?
Oh, I was talking about Final Cut Pro. How it replaced
yes.
Avid and then ceased to be important in Premiere kind of slowly. Premiere was like a joke when I was an editor, and now Premiere is the tool.
Yeah, I love it. It's
Yeah.
great. It's so easy to use.
It's great. It's what Final Cut used to be.
Oh, okay.
So Final Cut used to, but like I knew all the keyboard shortcuts. I knew everything. I was a Final Cut editor. It was what I did for money. And
Yeah, I don't know any keyboard
I was good.
shortcuts,
Ish.
but yeah, I know enough to get by.
I mean, you do a thing for 40 hours a week for a few 5 years, whatever it was. I don't even remember now. Many years, more than 5. You should get good at it.
Yeah, this is true. I use many third-party tools
Yeah.
in my daily job, and each one of them may have its own command line interface, may have its own keyboard shortcuts,
Yep.
and so there is a plethora.
Yes, or a plethora.
I like to say plethora.
I like to say plethora. I don't know which one's correct.
I say plethora, but I like to say plethora when I'm being pompous and arrogant.
Yes. Do you say encyclopedia?
I do not, but I will.
Good.
Thesaurus.
It's got a ligature to make it the AE.
Okay, whatever you say, man.
Well, I had to get pompous and say a smart person word after all
You did a
this.
great job.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, but all this to say, yes, you learn many things.
Yeah.
Sometimes too
anyway,
many
we're going to
things.
just move on.
Yeah,
We've got some problems with people.
We have,
and we're going to start doing this every episode.
Every episode.
Because you and I are patient men who are not easily annoyed.
Tolerance with Tim and Dave.
Yeah, we're tolerance experts.
We are. I brought a problem last week.
Yeah. Oh, well, 2 weeks ago.
Oh, last time. So,
yeah, I'm going to bring the problem because it's poignant for this week. And instead of being pedantic, roll the stinger.
George is getting upset. Oh, yes! That's what I should have said. We're living in a society.
Now, we have actually been talking a lot today about work. It has come up quite a bit.
it has.
Now, I am in my current job in the office 5 days a week. My office is a series of cubicles that are surrounded by offices. So it's a giant rectangle. The outer U shape is offices. Then the inner part of the U is rows of cubicles. It's 18 18 cubicles.
Okay.
3 rows of 6. Yeah.
I have a very similar setup.
So I am in the first row, on the inner side, so I share a partition with the second row.
Right. So hey, me too.
Yeah. So same. Now the people with whom I work 5 days a week, who are on a similar, at least not necessarily hourly, but similar daily schedule to me, they all come to the office. They all do their jobs. They have their quirks. They have their things that drive me crazy. Mostly it's just making a lot of noise and talking and whatever. People are like that. I get it. What I want to complain about, the problem I have with people today, and it's not just confined to work, this has happened in many circumstances in life, is unnecessarily profound, pronounced amounts of fragrance. Oh my God.
We're living in a society.
We are living in one. You share this entire planet with your fellow human. Your fellow human did not buy that fragrance.
No.
Your fellow human might not like that fragrance.
No.
Your fellow human may have a sensitivity to fragrances. This guy.
Yeah, if you're weak, you would have sensitivity.
This is literally my kryptonite. It causes headaches, heartburn, sneezing, coughing. It's bad.
It is.
So there is a group of people that work every Wednesday in the office. There's a group of people that work every Thursday in the office. And they hot seat or hotel, depending on where some people call it one. Yeah, so
we call it hot desking at my office.
So there are desks that are like, oh, well, you don't have a assigned seat. Yeah, but
someone,
you will use this one the day that you're in office.
Right.
But it's not yours.
Yes.
So there were back-to-back completely different human beings that wore too much fragrance right through the partition from me.
So you were telling me about this during the week.
I was probably telling you Wednesday.
Yeah.
And Thursday hadn't happened yet.
I think, we mostly chat over.
Yes, we use
internet
internet search chat.
So I came back from my work and was back to my email window and saw lots of uppercase letters. I'm like, oh boy. But I was mocking you a little bit, but then for me, the very next day, unironically, or quite ironically, the person on the other side for me, who only comes in once, sometimes twice a week, brought a scented candle and left it.
No.
Or some
sort of scent generator.
A scent generator that was giving me heartburn.
Good.
And it was just like, oh, sweet irony.
So last podcast, we talked about the mega church at which we were both employed.
Yes.
And that was where I first discovered my sensitivity, my heartburn-specific sensitivity to Old Lady perfume. Like something about Old Lady perfume, I don't know what the brand is, it's just what old ladies choose.
If you hear it, you know what it is.
You know it. Heartburn.
Yeah.
How?
That's an excellent question. I'd like to know.
Science guy.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Maybe Grok or Chat GPT will know.
Ooh, maybe.
We could look it up, but
interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah,
do it in post.
Yeah. It's not a reasonable thing to do to people around you.
No.
It doesn't matter how much you like a thing.
Yeah.
Be a fellow citizen.
In all fairness, when in my late 20s and early 30s, I would often give myself a little dose of like Nautica or something because I like the smell of it. But then you just notice other smells you don't like, and then just kind of make the correlation.
Yep.
If I don't like that smell, maybe they don't like this one.
Right.
I'm gonna lay off.
This is where our weapons grade autism comes into play. Is that we hate, like, cannot handle being an inconvenience to other people.
No.
Like, it's crippling.
It really is.
So I think we both kind of have that switch. I use unscented everything.
Even deodorant?
No.
Yeah. I don't think they make unscented deodorant.
They might, but it probably doesn't work.
Yeah, what I have to use is scented. I got away from deodorant with aluminium in it.
I have not yet, because I have not yet had a skin reaction to it. So as long as my skin doesn't react, I will continue to use aluminium.
Well, apparently the metals are hard metals or something. That's bad for you.
Well, I mean, everything is.
Yeah, stop using it.
We're all dying.
So I switched to an Old Spice brand that's just like the problem with it, though, is for my profound scent generation, it's got about a 6 to 8 hour shelf life.
Okay.
So I have to apply more than once a day.
Yeah. I'm tracking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not a jet setter, but I have been to 3 continents besides this one. and had
Yes, have I.
so 4 total continents of the
3
7.
total continents.
You've been to one I haven't.
Down under.
Down under. I have not been.
It was really
Where,
hard holding onto the grass.
Women
so I
Rain
didn't
and Men
fall.
Thunder. Yeah. Or Women Roar and Men Thunder. I can't remember now. We come from that down.
It's been a minute.
It has been a minute.
It's a good song.
That track slaps.
If it weren't for the FEMA camps,
Australia. If Australia was governed by reasonable people,
right?
I'm willing to be reasonable. I was always willing to be reasonable.
Well, I loved it because we've both been to California.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Probably the most beautiful part of the United States. When
Very
you get
likely.
outside of Los Angeles.
Yeah. LA is not beautiful at all.
But in terms of of weather and the mountains, the scenery, the vistas, if you will, the ocean, it is beautiful, but is just the worst managed and one of the probably unsafest places to go, at least today.
Yeah.
Because of the drugs and the homelessness.
15, 20 years ago, it wasn't quite as bad. It's about the last time I was there.
When I was there, I was in Oxnard, which is up north.
Yeah.
And it was, I loved it there. I was just, wife and I were just talking last night. I was like, man, you guys, we should go to California at some point if it's
We're actually
less of a
next
disaster. Because it is so beautiful. I know they would
doing
love
Yosemite.
Okay.
We're talking about doing Yosemite next year.
Nice. Careful of your picnic basket.
Are those open public domain yet?
I don't know.
I think Superman's about to be.
Yeah, but it's always
It's gonna be a specific
like Mickey Mouse is only the black and white Mickey Mouse,
Yeah,
and they can meme the heck out of them now, which is a lot of fun.
So, continents. The first continent I went to besides North America was Africa. And the parts of Africa I went to, no scent control. Not great.
Yeah.
I'm going to frame all of this in a circumstance I encountered in every continent so far that I've been to. Being in a taxi. I've done a taxi in 4 continents. So in Africa, very strong BO. Survivable, but not great. And hours. It was hours.
Oof.
Because things just, infrastructure is different. Things aren't close. My next taxi experience overseas was the UK. You think there's a problem with cologne in America? The UK takes it to extremes. Like, I got home and did, Googling. I was like, what is the national cologne of Scotland? I was just like, why? Why is, you get off, you deplane at Heathrow Airport, and in order to get into the concourse, I guess, for your connecting flight or whatever, you have to go through a cologne duty-free.
Oh, yeah, I know this is in Heathrow.
Yeah,
I've been through it 4 times.
Yeah, I've been through it 4 times.
Yeah.
And wife and I, it's weapons grade.
It's profound.
Yeah.
It's profound.
And then, so the taxis are the same. And then, finally, ending on the high note, Japan. Taxi in Japan. What does it smell like, Tim?
Probably nothing.
It's actually culturally inappropriate to have strong scents in Japan. Drink it in.
Yeah. I was just saying, I said the other day that you and I could probably be adopted as citizens of Japan, but maybe not our families.
Right, not our families. But you and I could do it.
Yeah.
Because, all we have to do is work hard and be unobtrusive?
Yeah. Sign me up.
Yeah.
And
everyone else around us is expected to do the same?
Oh, dude, it sounds like heaven on earth.
If you see a mess, you clean it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, God bless you, people.
This has been long for problems with people.
Yeah.
But
so, to wrap this all up, so my one coworker has already spoken to one of the people because he comes in hours after I do, and he came in and said, "What the heck is that stuff?"
Word for word, verbatim.
Word for word. Yeah. And then he was like, "I'm going to go cube by cube till I find this person and have a word with them." So
nice.
Apparently, so we'll see. I will report back.
Yeah, this is information we need to know.
Now, this was the Thursday offender, not the Wednesday offender.
Oh,
so the Wednesday offender has not been dealt with yet, but this may have given me the boldness to try.
The word I don't like is signage, but has signage gone up?
There's no signage. There have been emails.
Okay.
But
signage helps.
There is a giant whiteboard very near where this person sits, and I have thought about, like, verbatim the email.
Yeah.
And then signing it like Pam from The Office, sincerely disappointed. Anyway, this has been Problems with People.
You know, we're living in a society.
All right.
Okay.
This brings us on to our next segment, which we are calling the Top Tim List instead of Top 10 List.
Right.
This harkens back to our season format of the show.
Right. Now, as Simpsons fans know, the Kaiser stole the word for 20, which is why it's dickety. But what most people don't know is the Kaiser also stole the word for 10, which is why we have a Top Tim list, not a Top 10 list.
You've probably been wondering why Timmy has been sitting on the table the whole time along with this.
Well,
it's because of something that you made.
I made a stinger for the Top Tim list that I guess now is as good a time as any.
To roll it.
You know, you can't go anywhere these days without running into somebody's top 10 list.
And now you know why Timmy was in there. I saw this at the retro store, and it was not inexpensive.
Yeah.
But I had to get it because I was just laughing and laughing.
Yeah.
I love South Park.
Yes, as you should.
So
you have a Top Tim list for me.
I have a Top Tim list. I have devised something that I think is either going to have you shine as a genius or be confirmed as mediocre, as most of us are.
This fits very well with Bart's experience in Simpsons. So here we go.
It does. So this is the challenge I have laid out for you today. My Top Tim list consists of movies between 1980 and 1999 that were nominated for Oscar awards.
Oh, boy.
But did not win. What I'm going to do is read you, it's not every year, but the years that I have selected, of the movie that I would have preferred won the Oscar.
Right.
So I'm going to tell you what won the Oscar and the year.
Okay.
And you're going to have to do your best to guess what movie. Now, we can do this a very specific way. So you're going to get a point for each correct answer.
Okay.
But if you need a hint, you're going to get 1/4 of a point.
Interesting.
And because I am...
So 4 hints in a row could get me one point. Okay.
And because I am a generous god, you must get 5 points to get 1 point for the overarching contest to
that is
retain
currently
your
0-0.
trophy. Correct.
Okay.
And this is our first game. So...
My first, because you failed horribly at
I don't know what you're talking about.
Big Screen Blind
This is our first game. So, we're going to start with the year 1981.
Okay.
So just start thinking about 1981. And so these are movies that, one, I love, and two, were good enough to be nominated for an Oscar.
And I have to vividly remember the year.
You do. So you're just going to have to think.
It's brutal.
I know, this is tough. And I had gone back and forth on this.
Okay.
But I believe in you. I think you're going to at least get a few right. If you were doing this to me, I would expect to get about maybe 3 or 4.
I am expecting to... there's only one that I have any hope for right now at all. So we'll see. I'll let you know when we get there.
You let me know when we get there.
Yeah.
Because I'm running this segment, not you. All right. So the year...
It's 1981.
Is 1981. The Oscar award-winning... These are for Best Picture, by the way.
I assumed they weren't for...
sound
casting director.
So the winner was Chariots of Fire.
That's a good movie.
It was. So now think about movies in 1981. Think about movies that I like that would have been good enough to be nominated.
Good enough to be nominated in 1981. Aliens.
That is incorrect. Raiders of the Lost Ark, 1981. Going... I even wrote like the date here.
Yeah.
But I was going to hold these, but I was like, he might be able to see through.
Can't.
Okay. I was worried that you might be able to. I was like looking at it. I
also can't read it from you.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
But I have extra
as
a buffer. Yeah. So, and this is my terrible handwriting.
Also, we're going to see what year I think things came out in.
Yeah. Wasn't Aliens like 1986 or something?
Aliens? No, it was 91, I think. I think I got the whole decade wrong.
I thought it was 86.
The movie came out in 1986.
Anyway, 1982's Academy Award winner for Best Picture was the motion picture phenomenon Gandhi.
82.
1982.
The Terminator?
That is incorrect. E.T. E.T. was
E.T.
nominated. Yeah, I can't believe it's nominated. I like that movie.
Yeah, it's good.
So I wish it had won because it's more culturally relevant today. That might be a through line.
A through line, yeah.
Is that they're all more...
Yeah.
We remember Raiders. We don't really remember Chariots of Fire. We remember E.T.
Chariots of Fire was about racing.
Yeah, it had that song.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. We used to play that on our record player.
Mm-hmm. I remember.
Vinyl. We are old men. All right, we're jumping ahead to the next decade. These are the only one I agreed with most of the choices for the rest of that decade, or didn't have one that I thought.
So now we're in the 90s where I might do a little better.
You might do a little better. You've got 8 to go. You might have already screwed your chance to get quarters of points.
Yeah, we'll see.
So the 1990 Best Picture winner was Dances with Wolves.
Oh, God. Same year as Dances with Wolves.
Yeah.
1990. I'll take a hint.
You'll take a hint. All right, let me think. Which way do I want to go? We'll say Bart and Scorsese.
Oh. Goodfellas?
Goodfellas! All
right.
You have one quarter of a point. We'll put that in this pile because I'm bad at counting.
Yeah.
This is a tough one because you might disagree with me. Okay. 1992.
So you're wrong about this one. Got it. 92.
92. It's personal preference, though.
Okay.
The Academy Award went to Unforgiven, the classic Western.
Yeah. It's not as good as Tombstone, but it's still good.
Mm-hmm.
Went to Unforgiven. Oh. You saw that without me.
Yeah. I rewatched it later. It was a little on the slow side.
Yeah.
It's
good.
good.
It's not as good as Tombstone or
it's good,
Silverado.
But it's just, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was probably the best Western of that year.
Probably.
Gosh, what else was 92?
Yeah, this is a reach, but each one of these are going to be a film you have seen and like as well.
Yeah. I'm going to have to take a hint again. I'm sorry.
Okay, you're taking a hint. We will say, so it's 1992.
Mm-hmm.
And we will say that Mr. Jack Nicholson gives one of his 3 career performances.
It has to be Batman.
Batman was 1989.
Dang it.
Because I thought you would get that because it's Batman 89. A Few Good Men. You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Yeah, Batman 89.
Did you order the code red?
You're darn right I did. And we both censored that.
All
That's
right.
blasphemy.
Are we clear? Yes, sir. Are we clear? Crystal.
Okay.
I'm not going to get any points.
You might get.
I mean,
there's
I'm gonna
enough.
have a home run here.
There's enough left that you could pull this off. Okay. Yeah. 1993, the Academy Award-winning film was Schindler's List. Ooh. But another film came out in 1993 that we loved and have watched many, many times.
Oh gosh. All right, I just immediately went to. Do you remember the Flight of the Conchords song "Jenny"? Yeah, it was Jenny.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like when they were trying to figure out what movie we watched, it was something like, but not necessarily Schindler's List. It was Police Academy 4. We watched it and we wept. Oh gosh. Okay, 93, same year as Schindler's List. Something we have watched many times. Something we love. 93. I'm 11. Gosh, it's like trying to figure out what age was I when this came out.
Mm-hmm.
That I have watched many times, that is probably genre, whether it's sci-fi, fantasy, western, or gangster. Although military as well.
Or thriller.
Yeah, or thriller, yeah.
That's what we call a hint.
Yeah, I know.
A very subtle hint.
I know. But a thriller from 93.
Not an R-rated thriller. That's another hint.
Yeah. Everyone who's screaming at home right now, it's hard when you're in the hot seat to make the neurons fire.
Oh, there's video proof of me.
Yes. Oh, gosh. It's not rated R, so it's not Patriot. I wouldn't call Patriot Games a thriller.
And remember, this would be good enough to be nominated, so it would be in the zeitgeist.
Yes, it would have to be in the zeitgeist.
It would be referenced often.
Yes, it would have to be.
Mm-hmm.
Psycho's too old. And I think it's rated R. I don't know. A hint, I guess.
Go for a hint.
Yeah.
Where you at, Desmondo?
Nope.
I didn't kill my wife. I don't care.
I don't care. The Fugitive.
Where you at, Desmondo? Who says that?
That's when Tommy Lee Jones finds his fake ID that he made in the apartment.
Right.
He's like, Desmondo, where you at, Desmondo? Great line.
I quote this movie daily.
Yeah. Yeah.
I ache with embarrassment.
I understand. I'll give you the quarter point anyway. You know what? I'm going to make up a half points because you're doing so terribly. So you have 1 point.
No, I don't.
You have 1 point. All right. 1994, the best picture went to Forrest Gump.
Yeah?
In 1994, a film came out that changed a lot.
Did it break new ground?
It didn't break new ground. It just ushered in a new era, I will say. And it is not related to special effects or science fiction or anything of that. It just was a cultural moment in 1994.
1994 cultural moment. Mm-hmm. Need a hint again?
All right. That's too obvious. Let's go with this one. Uma Oprah.
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction. Yeah. All right. You have 1.5 points. We're getting, you might pull this off, Dave. It's not too late. There are 4 cards remain.
Okay.
All right. 1996 went to a movie I've never seen called The English Patient. I believe that was a Sandra Bullock film.
Yeah. Ralph Fiennes is in it, I think.
Sure.
Ralph.
Sure.
Spelled Ralph.
I had a friend who was in love with Sandra Bullock and would see any movie that she was in.
Ralph Fiennes is in the movie, but Sandra Bullock is not.
And was raving about this, and I just thought it sounded a little
feminine.
Yeah. It was not my can of Celsius.
No.
But in 1996, there was another movie. This one we both very much like, but it would not be something I would consider regular rotation.
Okay.
But let's just say it is in a similar vein as Pulp Fiction.
96, similar vein. Let's go for the hint, as I'm feeling unsmart.
The hint, the Snowy North.
I mean, it might be Fargo.
It's Fargo. All right.
That's your friend in the wood chipper there. Yeah. It's one that I don't watch regularly, but it is a masterpiece.
Yes. Okay, then. 1997 went to the film Titanic, which is...
You can stop there. As good as it gets.
You have one word right. Good Will Hunting.
That's the same year?
That's the same year.
Well, As Good as It Gets is better than Good Will Hunting.
I don't think As Good as It Gets was on my list of films, but...
I'm pretty sure it lost to Titanic.
Oh, maybe it did, but between the two, I actually prefer Good Will Hunting anyway.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I love that. Robin Williams gives... Robin Williams in that movie.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's not your fault.
Stop.
It's not your fault.
Stop.
It's not your fault.
Stop.
And just that scene where he cracked him and he's like, you know about everything, you've read everything, but you don't know what the Sistine Chapel looks like at dawn on blah, 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 or how it feels to be. And it was
As Good as It Gets lost to Titanic.
Okay. Well, Good Will Hunting is a masterpiece.
Well, Good as It Gets is a masterpiece times 2 Infinity to the Moon.
It's a great movie. I think this one's better.
Okay.
And
point of contention.
I would say fight me, but please don't.
I would love to fight you because I actually have the advantage since your back injury.
So the 1998 winner, I did see and remembered liking it and rewatched it or tried to with the wife somewhere in the last year, and we ended up stopping it because it was like, this is terrible. How did this win Best Picture? Shakespeare in Love was the winner for 1998. Yeah,
really?
Yeah, because I remember seeing it and thought it was funny. And then I went back to watch. I'm like, this is hot garbage.
Huh.
But 1998.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I mean, it's mathematically impossible for you to win at this point.
Yeah.
So I'll just go ahead and give you a hint.
Yeah, please. I'm going to need hints.
This is probably the World War II epic.
Well, it can't be Pearl Harbor. That hasn't come out yet. The World War II epic?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The defining.
Yeah, I don't... Do I have to actually... Can I just... talk about Nathan Fillion's scene as the wrong Private Ryan, who thought his little brothers were dead.
Yes.
Nathan Fillion of Firefly.
Yes.
Yeah. You're James Ryan.
Yeah.
James Francis Ryan. Mile. St. Frederick, Ryan, Minnesota. What does that mean my brothers are okay?
Yeah, I'm sure they're fine.
Are you sure that they're okay, though?
We're looking for a different Private Ryan. This is just a big foul up.
Yes,
he's the wrong Private Ryan. It's Saving Private Ryan.
Saving Private Ryan. Yeah. And our last one, the winner of 1999's Best Picture was American Beauty, which of course had great performances. Yeah. But it's just power. But it's just icky.
It's an icky movie. I can't watch it.
I can't either.
I remember in my snobbish youth, loving it.
Yes, same here.
It's a little gross.
It really is. It's just not for me. No. But in 1999, I would say
1999 is the best year of our life for film. This is almost impossible.
Yeah, but only of movies we liked, only one was nominated for an Academy Award. So there is no Phantom Menace. There is no Fight Club.
Right.
There is no Matrix.
Galaxy Quest. There's no Matrix.
Yes. So it was a film that launched the career of a famous Pennsylvania director.
Oh, okay. So it's The Sixth Sense.
The Sixth Sense. Yeah. All right. Well, you did suboptimally, Dave.
Shocking.
Yeah. But you
we're
see.
bad at this.
But you see.
Yes.
I
will also, for the record, this is the first top Tim list that didn't let us place known items in an order.
So
this is a new format.
Yeah, I wasn't going for an order.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I want to challenge you and give you a chance.
Much more of a challenge.
Yeah, because it's like we both have like a catalog of useless information related to movies.
So you proved that I can't call to mind what movies came out what year.
Right. And at the beginning I said, if you did this to me, I would expect to get 3 to 4 points. You got 3 points.
Yeah.
So,
about what you would expect. And the trophy remains in perfect stasis.
Yep.
Not sure where it's going to wind up yet.
Just all I will say is for the next game, give me an easy one so maybe I get a chance to win.
Totally. Well, here we are in the penultimate segment of the day. Oh yeah, we probably have things to display.
Nope, I have nothing to display. I'm just taking that one off out of politeness and respect.
If you respected him, you wouldn't have knocked him out of his chair.
They can't see. They don't.
I can see. I know what you did.
Oh,
see again.
And I did the thing.
Yeah,
again.
You're not Troy McClure.
Sorry.
So we're gonna go to the past, which is where we spent the last 3 segments.
So we're remaining
Problems
in the past.
With People's the only one that took place in the present.
That's
everything else was the 80s and 90s.
Yep,
where it belongs.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going back to the past for this episode's installment of Last Century Today. So you issued a challenge, a theme of that I really enjoyed, and I stuck to it mostly. The flea market today threw me for a loop.
Yeah.
But we had an interesting cultural phenomenon growing up, which was that toy companies for children would market rated R movies.
Yes.
With toys.
And cartoons.
And cartoons.
But toys
children.
Specifically, yes.
So movies that we could not possibly see in the theater, there were whole toy lines for.
Yes.
Now, I went shopping.
You did.
And I have a few that we can start with.
And what Dave is meaning is after we decided to end our original format, we gave each other our notes of the episodes we had been planning. And mine was rated R things for children.
Yes. So, which was fun. I was like, oh, we can do that for Last Century Today.
We can. So back then, it was toys and cartoons. Nowadays, it's called public school teachers.
He's not wrong.
I'm not wrong.
Homeschool your kids.
That's why our kids are homeschooled.
Yep. All right. So I'm opening this because it's not on the card.
Okay. I can't see it.
It's just in the packaging at the local store. So this one's great for so many reasons. So I asked my wife if she had any clue what on earth this could possibly be, and she got it.
Really?
And she was just like, the only reason is like the cyborg parts. I was like, maybe it's Bishop from Aliens, but this is supposed to be Bishop from Aliens. You know, the hulked out cyborg with the Gatling gun.
He prefers the term artificial
person himself. I know, he's a cyborg. I don't care what he prefers. I don't. He's a cyborg.
Let me see this guy.
So just as you remember him, And actually, all of his accessories, which is great. So you've got the science gun, and the science bullets for his science Gatling gun,
as he's doing experiments.
And it came with a miniature Dark Horse comic book featuring Bishop and Hicks on it, by Dark Horse Comics. Yeah,
Dark Horse. By the way, I didn't know until I was today years old, but today, like a year or two ago, is that Dark Horse was actually owned by Marvel. I didn't know that. It was
their adult brand, grown up.
Yes,
brand.
more mature.
They also did Max, which was much more.
Is he supposed to come apart?
I think he comes apart. Now, what I cannot fully demonstrate, but sticking with the theme, I also got Apone on the card. And what I love about this is that he's got the cyborg arm you remember from the movie.
Yep. Clear as day.
The yellow tank top that he totally wore.
Yep. That says no bugs.
No bugs. Yep.
Which is
exactly as you recall from the film. Not a Marine uniform. And I was telling you while we were talking yesterday, I actually remember the quote-unquote jingle from the advertising, which went, aliens, send the Marines! Space Marines, yes. Aliens! Yes. They worked as hard as the Hot Pocket guys on that one.
Hot Pocket.
So yeah,
this is your best jingle since
I had a theory that when I looked up these figures, it really started to look possible. I was like, oh, maybe they did not start marketing until these films went to television and the edited for television version. And it worked for Aliens, but it did not work for Terminator 2.
Terminator 2.
Terminator 2. Yeah, those toys came out. They came out the same year as the film, the rated R film. So I was hoping that maybe I had found like the secret for where these things came from, but no. They were marketed to children while they were still in theaters.
So I went to the retro store yesterday to see if I could find anything. And so speaking of Terminator 2, I couldn't.
You saw the Future War guy, right?
Yeah, which was kind of lame, but I'll try to.
Oh, I can find a way to put it up on.
Yeah, we'll just put that up. But I took some pictures of the back cards, of the Terminator 2 figure line, and yeah, all stuff you remember from the movie.
Yep.
I also took one of they had Aliens vs Predator. I couldn't find any of the. They did a separate Predator run.
I found a Predator at the flea market today.
Yes.
So I was not prepared to have a Predator today, but hours ago.
Nailed it.
I found this guy. He will decorate our set somewhere, but yeah. The rated R film Predator, or the rated R film Predator 2.
Yeah.
I don't.
Much more rated R. Actually, the Predator 2 almost got an X rating because it was very violent. And,
very violent.
And there was that, and there was also a fairly graphic for its time scene that would now be commonplace on HBO.
I just watched something. What did I just watch? No. I think it was an audiobook where someone was like, oh, you're just like Dutch, the first one to kill an alien. And then he was like, actually, Dutch wasn't the first one to kill an alien. The alien killed himself. It was, and then he rattled off the name of Danny Glover's character in Alien, and Predator 2 was the first to kill a predator. Like, wow, I could be friends with that guy.
Yep.
Wouldn't be, but I could be.
You could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not pictured. They did a Rambo action figure line, as well as a cartoon.
Also, what I found, they had a Rambo brand plastic Uzi. Not an ounce of orange to be found on it. It is solid black, like a gun.
Yeah, actually, do I have it over here? I guess not. It must be behind me somewhere. We have the NES Zapper.
Yeah.
The first one was gray. And then another gray. And then they redid it.
They redid it with
gray
orange.
And orange. Yeah. Oh no, we left the door open upstairs and Moo Moo has come down
again. Not again. Oh no, she's made eye contact.
She has.
Oh boy.
Yep.
Oh,
We're supposed to close that door. Who was the last one down?
This time it was me.
And last time this happened, it was you.
Well,
that's all right. Just let her hang out. Try to breathe through your mouth and not your nose. She's a really sweet elderly dog.
She has elderly dog issues.
And she has an elderly smell.
Yes, she does.
But she's a sweetheart.
She's fine as long as she's down there.
Yeah, it's totally fine. She likes this carpet.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you? It's 1980s, 1970s shaggy.
Yeah, man. It's soft. And yeah, look. She's just like, oh, this is great.
Like, oh, no wonder you boys are down here.
I'll take a photo of her down there and we'll post it up so people can see.
So you can see this, the
Got her in the middle of scratching herself with her face. Yeah, at the retro store, another line I found I didn't know about was Starship Troopers. At this point, we would have been old enough. 97, I think.
7, yeah. I just rewatched it's a masterpiece.
It's so good.
So, RoboCop, another one.
Oh, yeah.
Same director. So, Verhoeven, Paul Verhoeven.
Yes.
Verhoeven?
Yeah, Paul Verhoeven.
Yeah, just
Total,
all of a sudden got
recall.
caught. Am I saying it right?
So he made some of the best gory movies.
I was talking to my wife about it, who has only ever seen the made-for-TV cut, or the edited-for-TV cut of RoboCop, and she's like, wait, RoboCop's rated R? I'm like, oh my gosh.
So R.
I was like, this might be, like, remember Hot Shots Part 2, when he's getting his body count, and it's, like, bloodier than RoboCop? Like, that meant something.
Yeah, in RoboCop, people...
it's body horror.
People are bags that just hold blood.
Yes.
So it not unlike a water balloon. If you pop it, it's just going to go everywhere.
Yeah. Or if you get exposed to toxic chemicals and hit by a car.
That was on the TV version that we saw first, and it's still that was one of those images. I see it now. I'm like, man, this is really good effects work and everything. But back then, it was just creepy.
Yeah,
so creepy.
Wasn't a fan. I would not buy that for $1.
No.
I would buy a RoboCop doll for $1 though,
for sure. So what's great now is they make all these same toys for us as adults.
Right.
Over my shoulder, you'll see Terminator 2.
Right, and they're high quality and they're good decorations.
If you look over there, I've got some of the Alien guys
over
there.
Yeah.
I got Hicks and Hudson.
Maybe I thought you had Corporal Hicks over there, but
he might have fallen over. They're just there because they fall over often,
Hudson,
and it's
sir.
where do we put them on the set where they won't
Right.
always
I mean,
fall
I have
over.
stuff to decorate the set with now. I'm like,
yeah, you have an Apone over your shoulder already.
The same one?
Same one, but out of the box, right next to Batman.
Oh, so I
and
do.
Behind Captain Power.
Yeah. Oh, wow, that's a good segue. These are just additional finds at the store.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Bag of Captain Power
Captain
guys.
Power.
Not all in great shape. Like, that guy's missing most of a leg.
Is that the guy that turns into the tank?
Yeah.
Or has the tank wheels, I should say. Yeah.
And then this homeboy with the visor. And then the baddie. Yeah, I was like, oh, $5 for the bag? Sure.
Yeah,
Why
absolutely.
not? Yeah. So, yeah, that was a nice little find.
Sweet.
The ones I'm really, really happy about, because I would never pay the prices that the vintage toy store was charging. I got Londo and Jakar. I probably should have saved these for the next Babbling On, but I was so excited. So I got the pair.
When I was there, I was looking at the B5 section. Like, please tell me they have at least Londo. At least Londo.
Like in action figure format, I would have preferred, but the dolls are fine.
Yeah,
like it's nice. Yeah,
we're men that play with dolls.
Yeah.
Lord help me! What? You're needed on the bridge, sir. Knock on my door. Knock next time. Yes, sir. Did you see anything? No, sir. I didn't see you playing with your dolls again. Good.
And these will go up in a place of honor somewhere. But
they must.
And then in the comic book vein, I'm gonna skip the ones that are just kind of like rebuying stuff I had as a kid.
Would you like a stand?
Yeah, two stands.
I'm gonna swivel my microphone and try not to make bad sounds.
Okay, good luck. So,
gonna swivel this guy back. Yeah. All right.
So I got.
Ooh, I see an X-Men number one,
which I have owned in the past.
Different cover. Yeah, I have the one with Cyclops.
But this is the one that I am like stupid happy about because I'm a sucker for this character. Man Called Nova, issue 1. Yeah.
That looks like it's is that 80s?
I think it's. I don't know actually. I mean, this was 30 cents on the cover price.
That might have been
70s.
70s, yeah.
Yeah, so Nova, member of the New Warriors, among other things. So he was back behind. They've got New Warriors issue 40 with the foil one, or 25, whatever. Yeah, you got Nova there. Oh, that poster's coming off the wall.
Oh, yeah, just give the corner a little push. A little push.
Oh,
it's bending. Oh, no. What are we going to do? Just leave it. It's fine.
It's just going to fall. Yeah, so those were great finds. But I have one so obscure.
Okay.
It not to you and I. To you and I, it's just like every like dopamine hit ever.
We'll see. Maybe I forget. I am old.
You're old. I can't imagine you would forget this. When I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh.
Dude! Okay, yeah. I remember this.
So, It's basically it's Monopoly, but it's the solar system, and it teaches you like all the planets and their moons. So I got that for 10 American.
Wow. Oh man, that's a hefty box,
dude. I think it's complete. I didn't have a chance to check. I was like, I don't even care. I need this. I need this. I need this now.
A smoker owned this.
Yeah, I know.
It's fine.
Most unfortunate. I could tell in my car. I was like, whatever.
Yeah, but it also kind of reminds me of childhood. Everyone smoked in the 80s.
Everyone smoked in the 80s.
Yeah.
You smelled that often. So yeah, just delighted to have those little finds. I know it's kind of a hard turn away from the rated R stuff, but yeah.
Yeah,
I went to the flea market today. I couldn't help myself.
No, the segment is Last Century Today, where we're talking about things from last century.
Yeah. Today. Now, I did witness a guy with more money than sense, maybe? Or maybe more sense than I have. I saw a guy drop over $1,000 on Lego.
Lego.
Like, in-box sets and stuff, like... I saw, in one purchase alone, $700. Like, he was just like, hey, let me see all those boxes you have. He's like, would you take $700 for all of them? I'm like, yep. Like, yeah, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I saw him hit other...
Vintage Lego, I assume?
Well, I mean, Lego actually, I've heard that it accrues value better than gold. Like, in-box sets.
Little
like
plastic Scandinavian blocks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That, they increase in value faster.
Maybe that's what's in Fort Knox.
Maybe. So, yeah, like, if you had some...
Elon takes little X in there.
Yeah.
Just building Lego. It's the Spaceman!
If you take it out, it's not worth as much. You gotta keep it in the box. So, yeah, I saw someone drop silly money on Lego. He hit every booth. I've been to this particular flea market. They do it quarterly. Nearby. I've probably been in the more than decade I've lived here. I've probably been 50 times.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's just a thing.
I've gone like 4 or 5 times.
Like, just browse. I mean, I normally don't even spend money. It's just neat. But this year was like every booth had comic books and Lego. Like, it was just crazy.
Wild.
Crazy amounts of comic books and Lego.
Maybe I should have gone.
You would have enjoyed it. There was lots of good stuff. I actually had to stop myself from spending money. Sadly, I was on the hunt for Super Nintendo stuff. I found one cartridge and I didn't want it.
Yeah, you told me. So, Tetris.
I
always associate that with Game Boy.
I did find a complete Game Boy. I found a bunch of Game Boy games. Now that my tape deck is not working in my Celica, bins upon bins of cassette.
Of course.
Now that I can't play tapes.
We went last year to
almost none.
Like, we're just digging through everything.
Yeah. And literal, like, Rubbermaid bins.
Yeah.
Like, grab 5 for $1. Like,
all the smooth jazz you can handle.
Yeah.
And other obscure things.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was just, could go no other way.
Nope. Of course.
Any other things to say about the last century today?
My only other thought was when I was I had done no research.
Yeah.
Was just thinking. I remember they made a cartoon for Highlander, so there was the show. There was the Highlander TV show.
Yeah.
But then they also made the cartoon that followed Connor McLeod. And I forget who Highlander TV was, but it wasn't.
Well, it was like. Yeah,
I don't know. I don't
they
even remember.
They were both McLeods.
Yeah, and then
which because that's how it worked.
There was a cartoon for Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
There was a cartoon for Rambo, and there was a cartoon and a TV show for RoboCop.
Yeah, RoboCop TV shows on Prime.
Yeah, I haven't watched it. I don't know how it holds up.
I'm afraid it's PG.
Yes, it's probably going to be better than RoboCop 3.
It would be difficult not to be.
It really would. That's a tough one to get through.
Yeah.
But, it was just a very interesting time where, to this day, we still have the studios IP mining all of these things and repackaging
we sure do.
them.
I mean, a lot of stuff. RoboCop reboot was maybe a decade ago.
Yeah. It was... There's only one scene in that whole thing that I thought was interesting, and the rest of it was just...
Watch it.
It was slop. It was not anything good, but one particular scene was well done. That was his reveal, Murphy's reveal, that he was now RoboCop, because his suit's a little more high tech, and it's like he still thinks he's him in there, and then they open the suit up, and then it's like
here's what's left,
like one little part of his lung,
and
like one kidney or something, and that's it.
Yikes.
And like the rest of him is just all robot other than his brain.
Yikes.
And you just see him, he's like, it's all gone. And like sticks with you.
Body horror again.
Yeah. But they did it all PG-13. It wasn't gruesome. It was just like...
And still, if that were you would not be okay.
Yeah, because you look down, it's like, I've got arms, I've got legs, I'm just in this weird rubber suit.
Right.
Oh, no.
No. I am the rubber suit.
I am not me anymore. But it was just interesting for that time where all these properties were still relatively new, and they were like, well, we've got to make more money off of these things. Where an entire demographic is unaware of it or not allowed to see it because it's rated R, so let's just market it all to children.
Right. God forbid you make a new thing and make it well.
But it was effective. We had these toys. We had Terminator 2 toys.
We had Terminator 2 toys before we saw Terminator 2. Mm-hmm. Because of the gap between Aliens and the Alien toys, I think we had seen the movie.
Yeah, it was on
TV. Within 3 years, like 3 or 4 years before those toys. That's why.
And interestingly enough, the first version that we saw was the director's cut, but edited for television.
Right.
But I don't recall it having the Newt story at the beginning.
No, I don't think it did.
Because the first time I ever read that was in comic book form on the Dark Horse comic series. It was a 4-issue run that showed the whole story of Newt. It was called Newt's Tale.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, wow, this is... Because Aliens, 10 out of 10, love it. And it was, I'm getting more of this. What it did have was the scene with the automatic guns running out of bullets as the aliens were encroaching. That was not in the theatrical.
I don't know.
That was
director's. If you bought the VHS, you did not get that until the director's double VHS came out.
Did you watch the most recent Red Letter Media where they were reviewing for the second time Star Trek: The Motion Picture?
Yeah.
There's
the theater version. There were like the 4, I think, total versions of that film.
Yeah, so there
like the special,
the very special
version,
version or edition or whatever they called it. So the director was constantly tinkering with, and some scenes were thrown in that were like, why are they even here except for running time? Right. Like it just made no sense.
And the cloud being 82 AUs large, like that's 82. Like an AU is Earth to the Sun.
Mm-hmm.
Like
that's a bit
maybe
much.
Maybe 2. It's maybe 2 AUs.
Very clever cut. Yeah. But that was interesting. And then the last thing I'll say is the first time I saw Ace Ventura was with a friend at his house. And the TV version had scenes that have yet to come out, even as deleted scenes on a DVD or Blu-ray.
Yeah. That was a weird phenomenon of the 90s, that we would get stuff in the TV edit that we wouldn't get anywhere else.
Yes, because they cut scenes out that are inappropriate, fill the time with something else.
And I remember seeing Return of the Jedi for the first time on VHS versus the TV version. There was stuff from Jabba's Palace I'd never seen before that never made the TV cut.
Yeah, I still remember on the edited for television of Return of the Jedi, when Leia first meets Wicket, he stops because he hears something, and she's like looking around,
a whole scene.
And then in the film, she actually the scout troopers come up, she shoots a couple of them, and then puts her gun back in. But she's standing on the same log as when, or Wicket's standing on the same log or whatever, as when she's looking around, and it cuts back to her putting her gun back in the holster.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I guess they just heard a thing.
Yeah, it was just nothing. Mm-hmm. So it was like, different time, man.
TV edits, man, last century.
But it's magical. I loved it. I loved it. I loved everything about it.
Yep.
Cool.
All right. Well, that was last century.
That was. It's now this century.
Yeah. How unfortunate.
Do the thing where we...
Yeah.
All right, well, once again, we have made it to our final segment of the day.
Oh, goodness, that was difficult. Oh. Come on. You know you want to separate. There we go. Ha-ha. That's what happens to him.
Oh, wow. That's a little horrifying, actually.
The artificial person is damaged now.
Do you remember there's this household product...
Oh gosh, I hit the microphone finally.
This is my one and only successful attempt at a meme, and I only sent it to you, but the household product said no synthetics on it. Yeah. So I put that on the top, and then Bishop,
Branch Basics, I think.
Yes, Branch Basics is the name, not a sponsor, and sent that over to you with him making his disturbed face or whatever. It's like, that was pretty funny. I did a good job.
Watch your fingers.
All right, well, here we are.
Here we are.
Last segment. We've now cut to this because we were just fumbling around.
Yeah. So you probably didn't see us clearing the table and having our wittiest anecdotes of the entire day.
The entire day. So it is Holy Week.
It is Holy Week. It's the best week.
It is. It is.
the two best things that have ever happened since creation happened in Holy Week.
Yes.
So we felt like we had some other stuff in mind for Holy Crap, and then we realized that we're actually filming today, the day between Good Friday and Resurrection Sunday.
Yes.
And we have stuff to say about that.
We do, as any practicing Christian would.
Yeah. So let's do
the thing where we do that.
Yep.
I had 80s and 90s Christian parents.
And they were going to show people that weren't even saved Terminator 2!
Who could it have been?
Satan!
Man, where to even begin?
Yeah.
So for the uninitiated, the entire Old Testament portion of the Bible is pointing toward Jesus.
Yes.
So Jesus is God in the flesh on earth as the propitiation for our sins. The consequence of sin is death.
Yes.
That's all life comes from God. Once you separate from God, you start to perish. And sin separates you from God.
Yep.
And we are born from sin into a sinful existence.
Yes, we are.
And the most famous Bible verse in the world,
John 3:16.
John 3:16, God so loved the world that he sent his only begotten Son, so you will not perish but have everlasting life. And that is what Holy Week is all about.
Yep.
A perfect, innocent man who was God in the flesh, but also fully man, suffered and died on the cross, a horrific death, so that we wouldn't have to.
Yep.
And then with Resurrection Sunday, conquered death, proving everlasting life is possible through God.
Yes, and fulfilling many a prophecy.
Many a prophecy. Literal books upon books of prophecy.
That span
and prophetic
centuries.
psalms and multiple authors all throughout Jewish history pointed to that one moment.
Yep. Yeah, so it's probably, I mean, this is more than Christmas for the practicing Christian. This is the event.
This is the event. It is tied to Passover because it happened in fulfillment with prophecy. It happened during Passover. Passover celebrated the nation of Israel being freed from captivity from Egypt. Lambs were slaughtered as part of Passover, which again, pointing to the perfect sacrificial lamb of Jesus. And all practicing Jews would understand the symbolism of Passover, of the lintel and doorpost, having the blood of an innocent lamb to protect you from death.
Yes, so the angel of death
would
pass
over your house and go punish the Egyptians, who were given every chance to let God's people go.
Yep.
And the stubborn refusals led to sorrow.
Yes. Yeah. So, I was telling you when we were talking about what should we talk about this time, that my personal studies have me at Leviticus right now.
Such a fun book.
It's not repetitive or creepy. Right. And when I say creepy, what I mean is I was actually talking to my wife about this. Leviticus is giving a lot of the law.
Yes.
And it's explaining to the Jewish people they still have not been delivered to the Promised Land. Right. So we are post freed from the Egyptians, pre land of Canaan.
Yep.
So this is the construction of the temple and the beginning of the priesthood, but it's also what do you have to do as a human being to be worthy of being in the presence of God? Because there is no Jesus, there's no intermediary at this point.
No, there's a handful of humans on the planet that are even allowed in God's presence.
Right. There are references to the angel of God,
right?
And this, depending, I'm not an expert,
right?
But people are saying it's kind of like a precursor to Jesus, an intermediary, because the presence of God would be death.
Yes.
We would not be able to handle it.
In our sinful state, we could not possibly.
So why I was saying creepy is I was just reading a lot of the ritual that you would have to do and visualizing it. So this is the tents have been constructed. Yeah. You have the altar.
Right.
You have the Ark of the Covenant, and
for the uninitiated, this is what's called the tabernacle, which is a fancy word for tent.
Yes, thank you. In order to go into that room or that section of the tabernacle, you'd have to slaughter animals, and you would have to burn specific parts of them in one area, other parts in another, and take the blood, sprinkle it on yourself, sprinkle it on the altar itself,
on the
and,
mercy
and
seat,
yeah, and all these other things, and just like the visual image. I was like, man, if I saw this today with no context, I would think this is a satanic ritual that's occurring.
Right. It's dark.
It is,
but it symbolizes another thing dying for you.
Right. And that's there were kind of 2 points that I was talking about with my wife is that that death is necessary.
Yeah.
And then, but also that kind of proving how filthy we are, and that we have to do all of these things just to get adjacent, and that there's really nothing we can do of our own selves that makes us in any way worthy.
Right.
And regardless of what you do, and it goes on further, not just going into the tabernacle, but the differences between being clean and unclean, and the rituals you'd have to go through. Many of them involve sacrifice and blood.
A lot of them are like cleanliness rituals that are like ridiculous.
Yes. Meaning it is not possible to be sinless. There's nothing we can do.
Right. And an interesting note is every time the law increased in Israel, it was because they rejected God. Like, God was always trying to be like, how about just me? And like, no, all right, here's some laws.
Right.
Like, how about just me now?
No, we want a king.
Oh, here's some more laws.
Yeah.
Like, it's just all throughout the history of the Bible, it is just a loving God pursuing a people who want him. And when they choose to not want him, like, well...
But I mean, put yourself in that time, and it's a very different time and different society. But just to go to church, if we had to slaughter animals and put blood on ourselves and rip our clothes or wash in specific ways,
every nation around you hated you and was oppressing you and was trying to kill you.
I think you'd grow a little weary.
I'm not by any means. I think we make huge errors assuming we would not be in the audience scoffing Jesus when he was going to the cross. I think we make huge errors when we say we would not be the Jews who reject God the Father. Like, they're just people. Yep. We're just people.
Yep.
Like,
not just as in just
right,
justified.
As merely.
Yes,
we are mere human.
Yes,
we are.
I mean, think when the Israelites having witnessed daily miracles.
And
Moses goes up,
right? They're like, "Hey, make a
to
golden
the mountain
calf
for 40 days."
He's
not gone longer than a month, and they're worshiping.
They're already worshiping an idol.
Yeah, and it is a fallacy of logic to assume that you would not be like them.
It is. There's also another fallacy that, well, it's really a heresy that's going around right now. That I think a lot of it just has to do with the self-esteem movement and stuff like that. That we are somehow deserving of of Jesus' sacrifice. That blasphemes the cross.
Yes.
The whole point is that we don't and we can't.
Right.
And he did it anyway.
Yes.
Like that.
Just the stuff we were talking about were the rituals that God had passed down to the priests to tell us what to do to not even be worthy, but just to be not dirty and gross enough.
Right.
To be allowed.
To not immediately die in a microcosm of his presence.
Right. So yeah, I that's one of the. I'm glad you brought that up because that's I hear that like we deserve this or we deserve that. Even when I hear it just in like a sitcom, like I had a hard week, I deserve this.
Right.
Like I was like I don't want to be Mr. Party Pooper, but I'm like, all you deserve is death and eternal suffering. You know? But it's true. That's all we do deserve. And
right. It is, and that is why the act is so profound. It's that we are so loved that we're not worth what he did, but he chose to do it out of love.
Yeah.
And joyfully. Joyfully, for the joy set before him, he went to the cross.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. You can do nothing of your own strength to ever receive the free gift. But it's free.
Yep.
Because it's been paid for. The death has happened. The baptism represents the death. So you die into his death and are born into his life.
Yeah. Not to sound like a wimp, I'm so glad we live in this era where the post-Jesus has died and risen and returned.
Right.
Like, I can't imagine.
I can't imagine having gone through what I've gone through in life without the comfort and the nearness of God.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, to get a modicum of that, what you would have to do.
Right.
just to get a little taste of it. Where now it's just literally
just
anywhere, anytime.
It's just there. Yeah.
It is like your phone.
Right.
It is just there for the receiving. I won't say the taking.
Right. Now, this goes to say that we are not Bible scholars. We are men who love God, who read our Bibles, but we are by no means experts. But in Holy Week, if you feel that tug in your heart, like, find a nearby church, find a Bible believing church, like, find a community of believers, ask questions, start talking, because, God's knocking on the door of your heart. It says so in the Bible.
Yep.
And he's actively pursuing you. So
it's true.
It's about as preachy as we're ever going to get 'cause it's Holy Week.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not. I don't have the heart of an evangelist. I don't feel the need to push my beliefs on other people. I'll talk to anyone about anything, including my faith. But yeah, we witness so much evil in the world, and all of it is, I believe, a direct resistance to that call, to that knocking.
Absolutely, it is.
And because there are so many easy things. Like, I was just thinking today, I typically shower before we film. I just showered last night.
Right.
I didn't have the chance to shave, and I was just thinking of all the things I was not or adding to do in order to not do this one thing.
Right.
And it's a silly example of a shower. It's like, okay, well,
Right.
I'll do all this extra stuff. It would have been so much easier to just take the shower, have those 10 minutes, and then everything else is taken care of. Now I'm doing all of these extra things just so I don't have to do that one thing.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of that in our society now. It's ironically, it's easier to answer that call or answer that knocking door.
It is the hardest, easiest thing you'll ever do.
Yes.
Like, it's there's always this sort of tension in the faith that it's simple and complex, it's easy and difficult. Like, it's seemingly contradictory, but that's because we grew up in a Western society with a heavy focus on logic.
Yeah.
And
we didn't have to slaughter animals just to enter church.
Right.
So it's all been pretty easy for us.
Yeah.
On the whole, but yeah, it's I want to say, isn't my because I do love the Christmas season, but this really, I think, is my favorite time of year.
Like, I just
for
found
what
myself,
it means.
I'm not trying to brag or put on airs, but, like, it was Good Friday last night, and I was just in the best mood of my life. Like, everywhere I went, I was smiling. I felt like dancing. And I'm like, I don't remember this from previous years, but, like, just this, I'm just like, man, I'm just so full of genuine joy. I'm like, oh, probably because the death I deserved has been taken away from me.
Yeah, you have been spared it.
I've been spared it, and I've been promised way more on the other end of the scales than what I deserve. And
none of it.
Like, if it doesn't set your feet dancing, whatever will.
Yeah, I didn't feel that as much this year. I definitely felt that last year. This year, on Friday, yesterday, doing a lot of Amazon web training.
I understand. Yeah. Also, I guess, the whole my house not burning down when it really should have.
Yeah,
that was a nice little push.
Little pep in your step.
Yeah, a little push in the right direction of being joyful and thankful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just, it is the most amazing free gift, and we're reminded every year of it, and just being able to spend it with family, with fellow believers, and just celebrate, and take a few moments in our silly podcast to tell people that legitimately the God of the universe, who spoke everything into existence, loves you and wants a relationship with you. And it's free.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get much better than that.
No.
To not end on such a
heavy.
I
mean, it's light.
Heavy. It's light and it's heavy.
Yeah.
Going back to this.
Going back to the tension.
It's like, God is equal parts love and wrath. It's,
there's a lot of.
There's so much that. It's easy and it's complicated, right? But one thing I was thinking about when you mentioned let's talk about Easter was being 90s Christians.
Oh gosh, 90s Christian. And did you ever believe in the Easter Bunny, Tim?
I never did.
Why not? Because our parents didn't lie to us.
Right. Yeah. We were never told about the Easter Bunny or Santa or any of them being.
I heard about Nicholas, who has been dead for hundreds of years.
Yeah. But I remember our church of our youth was kind of split down the middle of who got Easter baskets and who didn't.
Right.
Because to the 90s Christian parent, it's like, well, this is sacrilegious. It's taking focus away from Jesus, and it's putting it on this pagan ceremony, and it's interesting. There obviously, if
there are holidays that Christians co-opted. Christmas is the obvious one. However, we did not co-opt Easter because that is tied to Passover, and Passover has existed long before.
Right.
So the pagan holiday, fertility festival.
Right. I think rituals could have been absorbed into it.
I'm sure some rituals got absorbed.
As we are a storied people.
Yes.
Spanning many centuries with many customs, many beliefs. But yeah, I remember we had one friend who one year finally got an Easter basket.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we talked about him last time.
Okay.
It's him and his sister.
Yeah.
And this must have been 10 years of not getting one, and then finally getting one, and just couldn't stop talking about it. And we would get candy.
Yeah, sure.
We got the Cadbury cream eggs. Our grandmother hailed from Canada, and
so
Cadbury was a very popular.
Cadbury was a huge brand up there.
British brand, and by the transitive property, a Canadian brand.
I mean, show me the difference.
Right.
They have the Queen on their money.
Right. That's part of the empire. Yeah. And so it was just one of those little nuggets I remembered of because I would say as we're more lenient with this stuff. It's like, celebrate the cultural stuff, but don't forget.
Right. As long as the emphasis doesn't become the cultural stuff.
Right.
The most important thing is what we're celebrating. The second most is who we're celebrating with. Third most is the candy or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever. You don't need to abstain from them. You just don't make them the center.
Yeah, but 90s Christian parents, they really wrestled with that one.
I know. I have friends that never got presents, that never got Easter, that made it to adulthood, that never, ever had it. Ever.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it. Yeah, so that's our sillier note to throw in, because this is it's a roughly comedy adjacent podcast.
We find ourselves occasionally funny.
Yeah.
So hopefully you guys too. But yeah. Happy Resurrection Sunday to everyone. I guess by the time this airs, that's a couple weeks ago, but
I'm looking forward to tomorrow morning. I love going in and answering when he is risen. He is risen indeed.
He is risen indeed.
Love it.
Yes, he is.
Indeed. All right, folks.
On that note, we'll see you guys again in a couple weeks. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed.
Peace out.